Hey up everyone, how you doing? I hope you're good. I hope you're having a great day. Right, questions Brits ask about living in America. Emma Robinson. If I knew someone that lived in America, what would I ask them? I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd probably ask about the cost of living and the people there. Other than that, I can't think of anything. But I guess there's going to be some surprising questions in here, or not so surprising. But anyway, let's find out. I'm already subscribed. I'll give it a like. But no, apart from what are the people like, cost of living.
Brits have asked me a lot of questions since I moved to
And I bet some
America.
are crazy.
Some of them we could say are a little bit daft, but a good saying from my old job is that there's no such thing as a stupid question.
So, we're going to get straight into it today with 3 questions I get asked quite frequently.
Three.
Number 1. Now, us Brits are notoriously known for moaning about the weather, or even just discussing it more than we need to. And it's not just the cold.
On the surface, it does sound like a moan, but it's not a moan at all. It really isn't moaning. It's just time filler. If you, it's only if you stood in a shop queue, really, or in a lift or something. I don't know. I don't know. It just so you don't have to talk about personal things, like bank details and stuff. But yeah, no, we talk about weather all the time. And I tell myself a lot, and I've said this before, I've told myself a lot, try and just, even if you take a walk to the shop and back, just do not mention the weather. Impossible. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Now, us
Actually, I can. If I don't speak to anybody on the way there and back, I can do it. But speaking to the first person, it's always damn weather.
Brits are notoriously known for moaning about the weather, or even just discussing it more than we need to. And it's not just the cold and the rain. If we
Every
have
bit
a
of it.
hot day, you can guarantee that everybody you see the following week will bring up the amazing hot day that we just had.
We're having this time of year, don't you think? Oh, yeah. Speaking of weather.
So it's no surprise that now I live in America, common question I often get asked is how's the weather? Is it still really hot? So where I live,
That's not one I'd ask, so I know. Yeah, depending on the state where you are, I see it massively differs, doesn't it? But unless you tell me, like, I don't know, they're in Florida or something, I'll be like, is it hot there? Texas, is it hot there? Because I know them places are hot. Uh, but yeah, it looked like she was in snow at the beginning. So where did she live? Boston. I think of Boston when I think of snow.
we have all the seasons, but really have them. It's really hot in the summer and really cold in the winter. Then
And
you have
Alaska, of course.
Alaska, which held the lowest temperature in US history in 1971. And then there's Death Valley in California that holds the record for the highest temperature ever recorded in 1913. So, to answer the question, no, it's not always hot in America, far from it, but parts of it are hotter than the UK. The USA actually has all 5 primary climate types: tropical, dry,
In one day.
temperate, continental, and polar. Now, you probably knew this one was coming. Aren't you scared that everybody has?
Guns! Guns kill!
Now, before moving here, I did, of course, check the area.
See, before the internet and we just saw the movies, I probably would have felt a bit like that, a bit on edge about having guns and that. But through the internet and doing this and some comments that I've seen from you guys, some of you literally lived in a open carry states and literally not seen a gun your entire life and stuff like that. And I've heard that quite a lot. I watch a lot of American YouTubers that say they've never fired a gun, never picked up a gun. But yeah, no, I won't be too worried about that at all. As I said, the movies back in the day before internet kind of made you think, shit, everyone's just going to shoot you. But yeah, no.
And check for gun crime rates. Because moving here from the UK, you are entering the unknown. You see the TV programs, you see the news, and it is daunting thinking that you're moving somewhere where you're told everybody has a gun. But that's not entirely true. Not everybody has a gun. There are still laws, given they're not always followed, and this can be a touchy subject. But if we look at the root of it, many Brits don't actually.
What do you mean by that, not followed? I know there's a bit of a loophole. I can't remember what it's called, where they have a gun market, a gun fair or whatever, then anyone can just literally go and buy a gun from the market or whatever. I don't know. Something that I watched some time ago, a few years ago. Can't remember what the loophole that people trying to get closed. Let me know in the comments. You help me out usually.
know the full ins and outs of America's amendments or why they have them. So, to put it basically, the Second Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the US Constitution, and it says a well regulated militia being necessary to the security of a
That's the first time I've ever actually seen it and read it.
free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. In modern terms, this means Americans have a constitutional right to own and carry firearms. The Bill of Rights were officially ratified in 1791, but
Any of you guys watching this, if there's any good videos out there about the Bill of Rights, let me know so I can check it out. Because, yeah, as I just said there, that is the first time I've seen it. That actually what it says.
to understand the context to this, you have to imagine America in the late 1700s. America had just fought the American Revolution against Britain. They were terrified of any government becoming too powerful again. Allowing citizens to have weapons was seen as a way to protect themselves from an oppressive government and ensure people could resist if the government turned tyrannical. And at the time, the US had no large standing army. Most defense relied on local militias. The founders just believed that an armed population was essential for national security. But not only that, people relied on firearms for self defense, protection against war.
I was just about to say that bit as well. In the early days, when we first got over there, it must have been just animals wanting to eat you left, right, and centre. If it couldn't eat you, it'd gore the hell out of you, wouldn't it? But yeah, not just against people, but animals too makes a lot of sense.
Wildlife and for hunting. So, a common follow up to this question is okay, that's great, but why does America still keep the Second Amendment today? And the answer is well, partly because it's written into the Constitution, and
Baked in.
changing that is incredibly difficult. But it's also cultural. Guns became tied to ideas of independence, self defense, and the whole frontier identity of
It is crazy how different the views are on guns over there to here. As I've said a few times before, even a lot of Brits think that guns are illegal here. They're bloody not. We just not allow them for self-defense like you guys over there. Just for sports and stuff. You're not even allowed them for hunting unless you're hunting on private land, I think. I don't know how it works, but yeah, the laws are completely different. But yeah, you still can get guns. You have to go to shooting ranges and that usually. It's usually on farmland where people might go hunting, just foxes or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Little rats and stuff. But no, we don't have hunting on the level you guys do over there. Not
does
at all.
America still keep the Second Amendment today? And the answer is well, partly because it's written into the Constitution, and changing that is incredibly difficult. But it's also cultural. Guns became tied to ideas of independence, self defense, and the whole frontier identity of early America. Add in strong political groups that protect gun rights and a major Supreme Court ruling in 2008.
In 2008, in District of Columbia I don't know if that's saying 5 or V, Ella, Supreme Court held the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to possess firearms for certain purposes, including at least self-defense. Do you know what, right? If somebody even uttered them words trying to get a gun license, yeah, like, what do you want this for? Oh, self-defense. You're not allowed to defend yourself here, don't be silly.
That confirmed it as an individual right. And you get a country where the Second Amendment isn't just law, it's something.
So I have to clarify that a little bit. You are allowed to defend yourself here with what's on hand. They say, what's it, with reasonable forces in, I don't know. Yeah, if they headbutt you, you're allowed to headbutt them back sort of thing. I don't know, an eye for an eye sort of thing. I don't think, if they punch you, you're not allowed to stamp on their head sort of thing. You're not allowed to You're not allowed to go wild if someone's trying to harm you.
Major
I'm trying to
Supreme
say.
Court ruling in 2008 that confirmed it as an individual right. And you get a country where the Second Amendment isn't just law, it's something many Americans see as part of who they are. I get that a lot of people don't like it, nor do they agree with it. But as it stands, it is what it is. If it makes you feel any better, I've lived here for 18 months now. I've visited 20 states. And the only guns I've seen were in Walmart and the big store called Sportsman's Warehouse. So after living here, I can
See, the Walmart thing is mad. I couldn't imagine going to the local Asda or Sainsbury's or something and just seeing a shite load of rifles and that next to the bread.
confidently report back to the UK, no, not everybody in all of America walks around with a gun physically on show like we're in a cowboy western movie. Now, that's not me saying people don't do it because they do. Open carry is still policy in most states. I just haven't personally seen it. And there are some major retailers like Costco that are actually banning firearms on their property.
Now, finally, I know I said there's no such thing as a stupid question, but
Isn't it really hard to be healthy in America?
What?
And I'm not talking about regulations.
You just hear this thing about all of the food additives that are putting the food over there and not allowed in stuff here. But that's in processed food anyway. If you just buy healthy stuff, then it's exactly the same anyway. Unless they're putting chemicals in your vegetables and stuff too. I'll be honest with you, though, our fruit's completely different. I remember back in the day, you could buy an apple or a pear or something, and all the juice would drip down your chin and onto your top. Now you bite into an apple or a pear and it sucks the moisture out of your mouth. So I feel as though they're doing something to our fruit at least.
I know the FDA works differently to the UK and EU. The question is regarding food culture. For the country that gave birth to the hamburger, is infamous for huge portions, and is home to countless fast food chains, it can be hard to convince unfamiliar Brits that you can eat healthily here without spending a fortune. Yes, the American diet shifted after World War II. Processed foods, convenience meals, and sugar heavy products exploded through the 1970s and 80s, contributing to the obesity rates America became known for. But here's the reality, you can get anything you want.
And I've said this before as well. How did you how did it happen? How did you for a lot of people seem to think that you're the fattest guys on the planet when you're not even 10th in the world, are you? I think I can't remember where it is, but there's loads of little places a lot of people hadn't heard of or wouldn't even think of. But I can't even think of any of the names now, the ones at the top. But yeah, you not even close really. If you know where it started, let me know. Is it something to do with the bloody war or something? I don't know because our bad food, which is somewhat of a reputation, it is true as well. Well, reputation is the wrong word. Oh, I can't think of the right word at the minute. But yeah, the war thing for us, the food being terrible and slop and that came from the war. So I'm wondering if that the US fat thing came from the war. I don't know.
On in the US. And even though America has a reputation for unhealthy eating, there's a definite generational shift towards clean, whole food eating. Fresh veg, fruit, lean proteins, whole grains, and fewer ultra processed ingredients. Even
I've never seen anyone cook cauliflower up after it's cooked. Never. I always steam it in separate florets. Never once done it in one big lump then cut it.
in suburban
Sorry.
Pennsylvania, fresh veg, fruit, lean proteins, whole grains, and fewer ultra processed ingredients. Even in suburban Pennsylvania, we have sushi bars, vitality bowls, acai bowls, and we've seen the same type of
Sushi
thing
things.
everywhere that we've traveled. So at home, we also cook a lot, and so do our friends. And you can eat really well here on a modest budget. People often say it's too expensive to eat healthily in America. I honestly disagree. I can make homemade soup with fresh
Yeah, it is more expensive. if your cupboards are empty and you ain't got nothing, it is more expensive to buy all the ingredients, because you've got to get your spices or whatever, all the stuff. You don't just get the food itself. The first time might be a little bit more expensive, but every time after that, when you perhaps only have to go and buy, I don't know, a bag of spuds because you got bits left over from last time or whatever, then it does get cheaper. But the first time or two, you've got to get that momentum built up so you've got all the stuff in your cupboards, haven't you? But yeah, for starting off, people starting off, it would be a harder thing. Especially when you've got drive-throughs everywhere as well. I'm not just on about you guys, I'm on about here as well.
Ingredients for under $15, and it lasts my family of three at least 3 full meals. Another example is my homemade chicken stew. That costs me around $20 and gives us 4 meals, which works out to be 12 portions. Yes, one of us is technically a half person, but I still wouldn't say that that's expensive. So, my take on this is that you can be healthy in America in the sense that you can choose not to eat at the fast food chains and choose not to pick up the processed foods.
See, that's the thing, isn't it? You're not being force-fed anything. You pick what you want to eat.
But if you disagree with her, in the sense that you can choose not to eat at the fast
Exactly.
food chains and choose not to pick up the processed foods. But if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know things you've heard about America that you disagree with. But like I said, let me know if you disagree with me. This is, after all, my take on things. Nothing is absolute, especially when it comes to opinions. But thank you for watching. Thank you to my channel members, and I will see you.
See you later. Right now, all good, all interesting. Gotta be honest though, a lot, not all, a lot of it's disgusting, but also a lot of processed food is good. But yeah, you can eat healthy anywhere, just about, can't you? Give us a thumbs up and all that good stuff if you want, and consider subscribing. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, bye bye.